And now I want to frame the walls, and I'm gonna do the 2x2s under the window like this horizontally, and then I'll do the vertical pieces on the hatch channels, and then I'll do a horizontal piece at the very bottom. Now I found at Lowe's this Green Guard siding underlayment. It's a 1/4 inch thick insulation, and I would have put that first on the hatch channels and then put the 2x2s on top of it. That'll help give the thermal break. And I should have really done that everywhere, even on the ceiling, but I didn't. The ceiling does have 2 layers of wood, so there's no screw that goes all the way through to the hatch channel. It's only halfway, so that might help with a thermal break. But the 2x2s here on the hatch channels, they're gonna have just a screw, wood to metal screw straight going through. So that metal screw will still conduct some temperature, and but at least I'm gonna have some more insulation behind it. You know, I can't 100% prevent thermal bridging. And this is also kind of compresses, so I'm hoping when I install it and I screw it in, the wood will compress it so it can kind of go around these imperfections here where the welds are. I did not grind these welds down, so they're kind of sticking out a little bit. But I'm hoping with this insulation, it's kind of gonna conform around it so the wood will still stays straight. So I'm gonna go and cut strips, 1.5 inch wide strips out of this insulation to put over here. And I think I have a spray in a can, like glue, adhesive, that I can just try to use that to stick them on, and then I'll add the 2x2s later. Alright, I'm going to cut it to size. I got the Gorilla Spray Adhesive Heavy Duty. Nice, it's holding up, looking good. Under the windows, 2x2s with the 2 3/4 inch long wood to metal Teks screws, and of course we have the insulation foam 1/4 inch thick on behind it. And I use this 1/2 inch thick plywood as a spacer to put under the window, and we put it like that, and we hold up the wood and we screw it in so it's evenly distributed under the window. We're gonna use some kind of a 1/2 inch window trim there at the end, and this serves as a spacer. Okay, 2x2s under the windows are done. See how they're screwed into the metal. Now you may wonder why are we not putting the 2x2s like higher up. It is because we want to have access to remove the windows if we want to replace them, service them, whatever. This way we'll have easy access. We just unscrew the 4 screws and take them out. I don't want to have any trim or anything, you know, molding or whatever it's called, overlapping and blocking the windows, like even here, from getting removed, or above here. So that's why we put some space so we can put some kind of a trim still, but it would not be going over the window. And now I got some 2x2s. These are 8 feet long, and I'm going to be screwing them into the wall, so I have something for the, you know, the plywood that goes on the wall to screw into at the bottom. I'm using also wood to metal screws, the Teks brand, self-tapping. I'm gonna put them about every 2 feet. And now I'm doing the vertical pieces. I'm using 2x2s, and I'm using on each vertical piece 3 Teks wood to metal self-drilling screws. And I'm cutting these vertical pieces 1.5 inches shorter over here to leave room to run wiring, you know, for switches, outlets, stuff like that, as well as on the other side for the plumbing. For the plumbing, I actually might have to leave it a little bit bigger to have the wiring and the plumbing running, but that's basically going to be running all the wiring under there. I am over here at the bottom. See, I am resting the 2x2 on the chair rail. And that's beneficial, kind of takes on that load if I'm hanging anything on, so it's not just being held by the screws, it's actually resting on this and spreading some of that weight. Nice and solid. You can see now over here it's flush with the end of the chair rail. So then when I add my plywood on the wall, it'll be over the chair rail. If I make it any shorter, then the plywood will be hitting the chair rail and it will be bending, or when I try to screw it, you know, this way it's pretty flush, because this chair rail just happened to be 1.25 inches wide, 1.5 inches wide, just like the 2x2. So here I came with the vertical pieces to the back where we have that side door, and this is where the wires are gonna go, but then I need to go around the door to the back where that's gonna be electrical closet in there. So I figured out I'm gonna do this. I have this 2x2 piece that will sit like this, right? And then this little gap here I'm gonna cut off. So when the wire comes around here, it can curve. When the wires come around here, they can curve up and go around here and then sit on top. And of course I'm gonna do 2x2 right here and a gap over here for the wires. So that's how it's gonna look. Alright, here we go. So this piece will sit like this. Also notice how I made a 1/2 inch gap here from the edge of the door frame, so I can put some kind of nice trim there instead of this ugly 2x2. So everywhere around all your doors, and even here you can see I'm gonna put a 2x2 right here. I'm gonna give 1/2 inch above on the door, above room to screw in some nice trim or something. Alright, here's how it looks screwed. I got 2 screws here, wood to metal, and the one at the bottom is wood to wood, you know, deck screw, and I cut this off. Here's what I've done here where the side door is in the back. I put this vertical piece all the way down and another one right here all the way up. So when my cables and wires come over here, I'm gonna actually have a dividing wall here to the garage. The garage is gonna be very small, enough to put lithium iron phosphate batteries and Victron equipment that deep, and water pump. So it's only gonna be like 10-11 inches deep from one wall to the other. So I'm gonna have the dividing wall somewhere around here between these two, or on these two studs. So I've put extra screws in them to make them super strong, so when I'm gonna put some plywood there, of course, but when I'm screwing the dividing wall there, it'll be secured well. And then the cables are gonna come in here and turn and go into that wall, or in front of it and around. You know, I gotta figure out how to route those cables, but they're gonna be coming in from above here. That's why I don't need to open up this space here for the cables. Things might change once I do the wall and I try doing the wiring. When I start doing the wiring, I might not be able to do it certain ways, so I have to modify this, but I can always come in and I can cut off these pieces here if I want to route the cables this way or whatever, or down here I can cut this off. That shouldn't be a problem. And on the left side of the bus, I'm actually making this gap here bigger. It's about 3 inches because I'm gonna have plumbing running there as well as electrical. So I need more room there. I might even have to, depending on how much electrical I have, how many cables I'm running here, I might have to chop this off a little bit more. That's why I'm screwing it a little lower, so I give myself room if I need to expand this. And now I'm putting the little pieces of 2x2 below the chair rail, and I'm offsetting them because usually under this this upper piece there is rivets here, as you can see, and that would push it out, so I have to offset it. And later on when I'm putting the plywood, I'm just gonna know I gotta move, you know, 1.5 inches or whatever to the left when I'm screwing in the plywood into the framing, so it's not a big deal. And over here where the windows meet the window deletes, I can't just put the 2x2 straight right on the head channel because it will be blocking the window and I wouldn't be able to open the window. Remove the window, I mean, if I ever need to remove it for servicing or repair or replacement. So I have to offset the 2x2s to the right, and I actually get a 1/2 inch plywood and I put a spacer there, so 1/2 inch away from the screws that hold the windows, so I can put some kind of nice trim there if I want to. And then I'm gonna use like a crack jig and screw under the angle, and then up here at the top I just do wood to metal screws into the frame, into these head channels of the bus. And then the next one over here, that's just gonna be straight on the head channel. It's only when the window meets the window delete where you need to offset it. Alright, wall framing is complete. You can see how it looks like. Over here, over the wheel well, I added, both wheel wells, I added this horizontal piece so the plywood can screw into it. And then over here, we have these small pieces offset so they're not on the rivets behind. And then I also have this horizontal piece on the floor so the plywood can actually screw into it. And over here, this is how it is, where the window deletes are. I have this gap for wiring. Over here I had to offset this piece. up here in the back. There it is. And over here, if you see this beam, that's for the loft. We're gonna have a separate video for that. So all this here is the supports for the loft. Of course, if you're not doing the loft, you don't need to do all this. There we go. The front above the driver windshield. Alright, now it's spray foam time.